Why I Became a Jesuit.
One sentence. I became a Jesuit because Jesus asked me to be.
I think it was to find a way to help others encounter a real image of God.
I became a Jesuit so that I could serve God. I mean, really, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to love and serve people in the best way that I could and to grow closer to God.
I became a Jesuit for two main reasons. One is a call from God, and the second one is because of the inspiration of two particular men, Father Joseph Retzel and Father Bob Erickson, who inspired me on how it looks to work with people in their spiritual lives and what it means to be a man of faith.
I entered the Society of Jesus in 1985, professed my first vows in 1987, my final vows in 2001.
First, I went on a retreat. It was kind of like the encounter that's done here, but it was done for young adults. So I went on a retreat given by a Jesuit there, and the theme was rediscovering love.
It was just a question that wouldn't go away. It was funny because I was working in a job that I really liked, and I had always wanted to. I worked in theater, and there aren't a lot of full-time jobs in theater. So when I entered the Jesuits, I had been working in the theater for like 4 years in a job I really loved. But I still felt at like the bottom of my heart, I felt this desire, this pull to try something else. And then at the last minute, I was like, well, I've always wanted to be a Jesuit. And he said, well, you should try it out. And that's what I did.
Have you always felt connected to God?
In some ways, yeah. And in some ways, no. I mean, I was never religious. I didn't grow up going to church. My family, we were C&E Catholics, is what my mom called us, like Christmas and Easter. But I always loved God.
Oh no, no. No, I think looking back on my life, yes, I've definitely saw points in which I definitely could see God working. That feeling of closeness with God, I think probably started with the love of my parents for me, and then it manifested itself in different ways. But I had to kind of look and realize that.
Always. So that's something I think, I don't know why that happens, but for me, that came in the womb, I think. I was always interested. I didn't always know what it was I was connected to, but there's never been a time where I wasn't aware of something transcendent in my life. What were my plans?
Oh, I had no idea. Does anyone ever know? I still don't know. I mean, I think I had hopes, like I wanted to make a difference. I always wanted to go to grad school. I know that like I wanted to be active in theater. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I never was that way. But I had like a lot of little goals.
So I'd sort of had planned to get married and do something else, didn't know what. I was engaged for a short amount of time. But then those plans, I would say there were never concrete plans to do something else. When I got to the concrete plan part, it was all about being a Jesuit.
Who are important people who have influenced me as a Jesuit to become a Jesuit? Yeah,
so that's a great question. There's two priests I'd point to in particular. Father Mike McHugh was probably my main inspiration. He was pastor of our parish in the town I was living in. One of the most amazing, generous, inspirational, forgiving, loving people I've ever met, and definitely wanted to be like him. Father Tom Colgan, they were the two of the priests that were at my parish at the time. And he was young, and Father McHugh was kind of elderly, but they both were inspiring. They both loved Jesus, they both loved the Society of Jesus, they both lived Ignatian way of life. Loved their life of simplicity and service, and I wanted to be just like them.
I think the most tangible thing, if we can say it's a person, would be the person of Jesus. I think that would be the most fundamental thing in terms of the religious side. Continuing on that journey, I think it would be probably my group mates that were on there, the people I shared with in that community, but then also the outside of that. Once I entered into that retreat, I entered into kind of a larger community of other people that loved God in a similar way and also wanted to help others love God in that way.
What was my first job?
My first job, I worked all through high school at the American Red Cross. I sat at the front desk and helped people.
My first job ever was working in the library.
I worked at Walgreens.
If I was not a priest,
I'd be a therapist, or I'd be I don't know, or a teacher.
That's great. It's hard to answer because I wouldn't want to be anything else. I mean, I imagine any other scenario and I would find it sad. That being said, I think it would be fun for a short while to be a chef. That's what I think would be sort of fun.
because my passion is connecting two different groups of people. People that have and people that have not.
I've been the Jesuit for so long now, where I can't imagine myself not one. And that's like terrifying.
Mr. Beegler is always ready to teach and learn from us, which is really impressive that he's very open to new things and he always has a smile on his face.
It's funny, he's easy to talk to.
Yeah, he welcomes students into his room and always brightens their day.
His joy, I think it's really relevant to the joy of the gospel.
He is, honestly, my very first thing I'd say is he's a holy person. And that, I mean, very seriously. He is a man of prayer who loves God and loves the people he's serving. And he does so with a great deal of humor and a lot of fun, but he's generous of heart, he's a wonderful person. That's my description. Dr. No is super interesting, just the fact that he's a medical doctor on top of being a Jesuit and has had, studied his philosophy in Mexico, studied in Spanish, he's fluent in Spanish and has interests in all kinds of things. He's a super interesting person.
He's a super down-to-earth guy and tries his best to connect with everyone he meets.
Smart, has a great depth about him. Also a very good listener and always is 100% in where he's at. Like when you're in a conversation with Dr. No, he's all there.
Father Adams is very genuine and kind, and he's very open-hearted, and you can tell he's given his all to the school and his students.
Warm, very generous, funnier than hell, just funny guy. Really positive, and a good listener.
Father Adams, with his role here, he's such a leader, gives a good spirit to the school. He really I think challenges in a good way, inspires, maybe might be the right word, to live the mission of what Jesuit High School is, which is to be men for others and women for others.
I will miss every person at this school. I mean, I can't even begin to think about leaving some people. And I don't mean to sound dramatic, I just really love this place and the people in it.
They're authentic, they're credible. I think the Jesuits are unbelievably influential, hopefully in anyone's life that comes to Jesuit High School.